What's going on YouTube? My name is GinJTCG or Chris, and I'm back with another Pokemon TCG deck preview. And today I'm bringing you from a list that I found from the redacted closed list tournament by the player named Riverisco. And forgive me if I'm saying that name wrong, I just saw this deck online and I wanted to give it a try so bad because I have been in love with Venomoth ever since it came out from Pokemon 151. With the Perplexing Powder attack, you prevent your opponent from playing any item cards in their deck, which is just, item lock is a huge thing. It's super annoying to get around, and I always thought it was kind of like a fun little concept to kind of make your opponent work towards a different way to win, since they have to work a lot harder because most decks play around like Arven like Rare Candy, Arven from Buddy Poffin, things like that. So it kind of shuts down a lot of the main like engine power in most decks. And you also get to confuse your opponent's attack, which is pretty solid. And they paired it with Froslass, which I think is like the perfect partner for a deck like this. Since you can item lock your opponent with Venomoth, hopefully get some big confusions off, and then you can build up some like background damage with Froslass, just kind of cooking up your opponent. You know, your opponent's support Pokemon, since they might not have switch outs or ways to necessarily get around it, since they would be under item lock. They are playing Hyper Aroma in this list, which makes perfect sense, and I think is honestly the perfect ace spec for a deck like this. And yeah, I mean, I played a few games with the deck. It really wasn't super hard to get going. It was a pretty easy deck to pick up, which I found surprising, because it's definitely like a more interesting concept. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's got some your standard supporters. It's got Irida to help you dig out some Frostlats and some good item cards. It's got Arven for a good TM Evo play. You can get Buddy Poffin or Earthen Vessel if you need energy. You don't need a lot of energy in a deck like this, since you're really only using item lock with Venomoth. You really don't need more than that. And Cleffa and Elekid are decent leads. You get some free attacks with them, so definitely some solid Pokemon to use with it. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the deck. As a whole, I mean, let's get into it. Let's see if we could get a positive record with a deck like this. And I will see you guys in match number 1. Alright, so it does appear our opponent is choosing to go first, and they open up with Squirtle, and I am praying this is a Blastoise EX deck. I mean, that is a deck I would love to see take off and do solid. I just think it's such a fun deck to use, and I would love doing a video on it for this channel as well. And we open up with actually a phenomenal hand for game 1 here. And our opponent just attacked past, so I'm curious. We have TM Evo. Okay, good. I'm curious what their play here is going to be, but we've got, I think, the perfect hand to just get a pretty aggressive start. I mean, as aggressive as a, you know, deck like this can be, but we are going to take... Make sure 3 of these are in the deck. We got all 4. Okay, yeah, perfect. Pretty much everything we need to get as good a start as possible. I hoping we're not going to need another Earthen Vessel. The rest of these cards are just so, I feel like, necessary for the rest of the game. We might just have to get rid of both our Earthen Vessels with this one go to go for a big TM evolution play. And honestly, I don't hate evolving the Venonat here, as well as the Froslass, because they don't have any extra Pokemon in play now. Maybe I could have taken another Froslass, but I have Hyper Aroma for next turn. So I figured, you know what, let me just guarantee the Venomoth in case this Venonat gets knocked out. And we'll see how our opponent responds with this. But yeah, I saw this list and I just think it's such a great combo because, I mean, you know, you play Venonat with Spidops, but it's always like, you're kind of... like, you stop them from using items, but I feel like that deck lacks the damage output necessary to take massive KOs sometimes. But a deck like this, man, and they just have Rare Candy Blastoise in their hand, which is fine. I mean, that means we'll just start getting some early damage done. But paired with Froslass and Venonat, we're not necessarily going for massive KOs at every single point in the game, and I think that's going to work in our favor more here, which is perfect for us. And for a water Pokemon, they have to be playing Radiant Greninja in a deck like this, so I'm just going to put Manaphy down just to stay safe. And our hand's a little dead after this turn. Although I think that's fine, but I'm still going to take Pokégear for next turn just to see if I could get a Carmine and keep cycling through. But I mean, this was definitely, like, the best setup I could have asked for with a deck like this. And we've just got we've got another Venomoth set up. We've got handheld fan. Now we'll put them in item lock, and they take 0 damage because of the solid shell attack. They take 30 less damage per turn, which is a little annoying because we don't do much damage at all, but at least we get the confusion off. And unless they have a switch out, they really can't get around that, and they can't play switch cards because they are under item lock. So you'd have to play something like Turo, which has made them burn another rare candy, or something like that to get around this at the moment. And then our freezing Shroud ability on Froslass is gonna start picking up some nice damage, I'm hoping. But we'll see what they Irida for here. And this is kind of why I love item lock right now, because so many decks, you know, search for water Pokemon item card, and the item card is just kind of useless. You know, like our opponent's taking an Earthen Vessel, but there's not much they can do with it since they can't use it. So, you know, we will just keep chipping away. And this is kind of what oh, I didn't think of that. About to kill my own Manaphy. Oh, that's a bad misplay, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. They just scoot for game number 1. They must have had a hand of item cards. But I will definitely take some easy rage quits with a nice item lock deck. So that wraps it up for a quick game number 1. Let's hop into match number 2 and see if we can pick up some more easy rage quits and climb this ladder a little higher. Alright, so we are going first in match number 2 after a super fast match number 1, and I'm curious to see how bad our starting hand is. Alright, this is pretty rough. I mean, we've definitely got item lock as soon as possible, but we don't have anything else. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really help us much either. I don't even necessarily want to play the handheld fan, because maybe if I get like a Buddy Buddy PAF and NCM Evo, I can start going to work. Although we'll pretty much have to keep our opponent under item lock. I don't know. I mean, this one's going to be definitely a little harder with a deck like this. And they are playing Alakazam EX, which is definitely a little tedious. Because their Alakazam EX does not have any... Wow, that actually might be like the worst matchup for us. They don't have any abilities, so they don't die from Freezing Shroud. And they can attack from the bench, which makes Handheld Fan useless. But here's to hoping they don't play any middle evolution lines for Pidgey or Alakazam, because then item lock kind of just shuts them out of the game. But, I mean, we'll see what they take with this Luminion. I wouldn't be that upset with an Iono, although I do have 2 Venomoths in my hand. And they take an Arven, which is solid. I mean, this might be the last item they'll hopefully be using for a bit. Although they will have Forest Seal Stone, which is a little pesky. This is tricky. This is definitely a tricky one for sure. But we are getting some spicy lists on the ladder today. I mean, I thought I was playing some crazy decks, but Blastoise EX and Alakazam, I think I have entered the back rooms. But I'm rocking with it. I'm liking it. So they cape up here on the Mimikyu, which, well, a little problematic. Makes it a little harder to KO. But they did whiff the energy placement, so we do have at least 2 turns of using Perplexing Powder here, which is pretty solid. And I don't know if I need to use that now. I can't see them retreating, so... Oh, actually, they could retreat, get out of confusion. We'll play it just to stop them retreating to get out of the confusion. I'll try to lock this Mimikyu up for as long as I can, hopefully slow down the game enough to set my own board up. And hopefully I could get a supporter card here or something soon just to help me get going with the better board state. Because 1 Venomoth is not going to cut it. But they are under item lock. I'm curious what they search for here. I am praying it's a card like Iono. I need a new hand. And there it is. Ask and you shall receive. They're looking for a new hand. I am definitely not complaining. And we'll see if they could... I don't think there's a way they could kill my Venomoth this turn, and this hand is so much better than the last turn. And this is just effects of attacks. Okay, good. It's effects of attack, so Freezing Shroud will still go through Rapska because it's not an effect of an attack, it's an effect of Frostmoth's ability. So that's fine for us, actually, and I'm really liking this hand a lot. I'm not super worried about bench damage in a deck like this, so I think what I do here is we have 3 Froslasses in the deck. That's actually fine, I think. I think I'm just going to fill my board now. And next turn, I'm going to use Arven for Hyper Aroma, and I'm just going to throw down 3 Froslasses. I'm not going to play Vacuum here either, because I'm not taking a KO on Mimikyu yet. And once this Mimikyu, like after next turn, when this Mimikyu has been in KO range, then I'll play the Vacuum to take the KO. But for now, I mean, they're playing a lot of Pokemon that are going to eventually get abilities. Ooh, that's a little annoying. Alright. We do get TM Evolution. This might hurt a little bit. But I think it is important to switch. Keep them under item lock. I can always Hyper Aroma next turn. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I'll take this just to thin it out of the deck at this point. I do want to keep this switch live, though, which is the biggest thing. And maybe I could Lost Vacuum TM Evo and just take the KO here. That actually could be pretty nice for us. Get that Froslass out of the prizes. You know, I actually like that play a lot. Let's run it. They're giving me the thumbs down. I know, I'm playing a toxic deck, but this is the way to be. God, I love a good item lock deck every now and then. I feel like it's hard to complain and say, you know, this deck is too overpowered, bro. I'm sitting here at 90 HP on 6 of my Pokemon. You know, it's a very squishy deck, but it has got some insanely annoying effects. And I haven't even got my Frostlasses out yet. I whiffed it out of the prizes, too. So, you know, next turn, we'll Arven for all my Frostlasses, or all 3 of them in the deck, and we will run from there. Yeah, our opponent is not happy that we kind of got him under wraps, and, dude, that is match number 2, wrapped up super quick with item lock. I don't think they had a way to search. They might not have had a middle evolution line, which is, this deck pretty much auto wins at that point. That could totally help against things like Charizard. You know, Charizard, Qianpao, for their Baxcaliburs. I mean, there's just so many decks, Dragapults, that revolve around those rare candies like Alakazam and Blastoise, actually, that if they can't play it, I mean, you just kind of win like that, even if you only got 1 Venomoth. So that's game number 2. Let's see if we could go for the fastest video ever and take game number 3 as well. Alright, we are going first in match number 3, and we'll see if we get a decent hand. This hand is definitely better than the last one. Except we don't have an immediate item lock out for our next turn, which hurts. And I think now we might be seeing Qianpao, which is a lot scarier since they can just attack with Qianpao pretty much every turn without Baxcalibur. That's actually a huge top deck from us there. So that's, oh my god. Ask and you shall receive. I mean, there's pretty much everything I needed. We're going to need 2 of these out. I'm almost like scared to play Manaphy because they have Radiant Greninja, but let's see, what would I do next turn? I'm trying to think if I search for a switch or not. I could Earthen Vessel Retreat. Maybe that's the play next turn. Just try to set up a board state. I kind of like that play. Yeah, okay. So we might next turn have to Earthen Vessel away either the Pokégear or the top deck. Just to get the Snorunt out of the active and start swinging early with Venomoth. And from there, I mean, we could go Arven for Buddy Poffin and Handheld Fan. and it is definitely Qianpao. I mean, they got the Frigivax down, they've got Double Bidoof. Those are going to get eaten up by Froslass, who also only has a 1 retreat. So that was, I mean, like a perfect top deck. We only have 1 energy left in the deck. Oh boy, 2 are prized. That's a problem, but we'll make it work. I mean, we got a couple rods. Yeah, we're chilling, we're chilling. We are fine. And I'm going to Arven here, though. I'm going to take Buddy Poffin. That's not what I wanted. I probably will need at some point, though. Next turn, I'm going to take Hyper Aroma with the Irida, and I'm going to take Handheld Fan, just in case they use Greninja. I want to be able to move that last energy away. And let's just go for... How many Froslass we got on the deck? We got all of them in the deck. That's perfect. So we'll get a big Perplexing Powder out. Hopefully stop the rest of their hand from kind of taking off. I mean, Qianpao is a deck that is just dominated by item cards. Like, or dominates with item cards, I should say. I mean, their whole deck is superior energy retrievals, Buddy Poffins, Nest Balls, Rods, pretty much everything you need to kind of use 50 things per turn to keep yourself flowing. But with a deck like ours that works in our favor, since we stop them from using all of those cards, they're going to have a lot more dead cards in their hand. Like even Pokestop, which they use as like a, you know, for a draw engine for more consistency, because they play so many item cards, now becomes more useless because they're either getting dead cards, you know, item cards with the Pokestop, which are dead now, or they're getting rid of cards that are Pokemon, like Qianpao. They're getting rid of Iridas, you know. This is the one thing I was scared of, was that Greninja play. But as long as we could try to keep anything else in the active spot, I feel a lot more comfortable going into this matchup. And I think we have a legitimate shot at that. Because we'll be doing so much chip damage early with our Froslasses. We might be able to dodge that. So here I'm going to take, I believe, another Snorunt and then Hyper Aroma. And I'm going to try to KO. I don't know if it necessarily matters if I take another Venomoth. I might actually choose not to take one here. And take another Froslass. Because if my Venomoths die, I mean, it's clips for me. I've got no energy left in the deck. And I think I just want to start just ramping up as much damage as possible. Obviously starting next turn. Next turn I'll have the full 4 in play. And we'll take our first KO here. This is kind of where it gets a little scary, because they're going to easily take another KO with Qianpao as long as they have 1 energy in hand, which they kind of guarantee with Shivery Chill, because I wasn't able to get the Confusion on it this turn. And I don't know what we do after that, because we don't have energy, we don't have a supporter to look for anything. So yeah, we won't be item locking this. We pretty much won't be item locking them, period, this turn. This is, I think, the one issue right now. We pretty much have to top deck. I think, what, Carmine would be our best shot, because we could hopefully draw into Earthen Vessel Rod. If we manage to get all of that, we're still in. We're still in the game, because we'll get another Venonat out this turn, or Venomoth out this turn with an energy. If not, though, we're definitely in a stickier spot. So they take 1 prize card. We're going to promote Venonat here, because I really don't feel like having to look for a switch as well. And we're either going to have what we need, or we're not. Either way, it's going to be pretty scary from that point. And they've got just enough. That's not what we wanted to see out of the top decks, but it could get us another turn. So we are just going to pass here. We will be KOing their B-Barrel, which I'm hoping can save us here. But they've already played 2 Irida. I would be shocked if they don't have Baxcalibur Rare Candy in their hand, and that's really where it starts to get real scary. But, you know, we'll go in for the prizes. Hope we get an energy. We get a gear, which could help. That could be huge, actually. So we'll see how our opponent responds here. Item lock is broken, so they can play all the items they please this turn, and I guarantee they'll be playing a lot of them. And they just have Rare Candy Baxcalibur. Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm hoping that they're a little clogged up with cards. They don't have B-Barrel to help them draw, so I'm hoping they just KO the active and don't use Moonlight Shuriken. They do use Prime Catcher. Yep, there's going to be a big Moonlight Shuriken this turn, but I think we might be able to be okay with that. Because even if they kill 2 Frostlasses, Radiant Greninja's getting knocked out, which is good for us, but definitely keeps our opponent here in the game. Yep, and they just have a Moonlight Shuriken like that. But I think they might just be attacking with... Nope, they're grabbing some more energy. Okay, that's smart. That's smart. I'm curious who he kills. I mean, if he kills my Venonats, I'd actually be in more danger than if he kills 2 Frostlasses. I'm hoping he's now scared of the Frostlasses and kind of targets them. I'm saying he. I don't know if our opponent's boy, girl, but, you know, I'm hoping our opponent kind of just takes out our Frostlasses here and maybe 1-1. I don't know. I need a Venonat, though. I need to get item lock back. I can't let Chien-Pao keep playing items. And they get rid of electric energy, which is... That makes me so happy because I do not feel like dealing with Iron Hands. And please take your items. This is the last turn you can play them. And I think our opponent is a little wary of that too. And they get rid of Chien-Pao and backs, which is good. Definitely good for us. And they don't play the Buddy Buddy Poffin. So let's see who they kill here. There's one Venonat. Oh, see, this is where it gets so scary for us. Because now... we need Rod and another evolution line. That was, I think, the best play our opponent could have done here. So, respect to them for seeing through that one. They were not scared at all of the Frostlasses, which makes sense. I mean, you know, it's going to be so easy for them to take some more KOs. They probably have Rod in their hand as well. And now we get the energy. A couple turns too late. And a Venomoth? Oh, come on. Oh, man. Alright, well, Arven here. Or Pokégear for Carmine, not Arven. I was hoping we would get Arven with everything in our hand. Now we have to discard the best cards possible. But I think we could work with that. We'll Ultra Ball these away. We're going to take, I believe, yeah, we got another Venonat in the deck. We are 100% going to take it, put the energy on it, kind of force them to go for this thing. Hopefully keep our Frostlasses alive just a little bit more. And, oh man. Definitely a rough one. Definitely a rough one. We could Carmine again, hope we get Ultra Ball and Rod. I don't necessarily want to Pokestop, but I think I'm in a position where I'm kind of forced to. I mean, I'm not worried about getting rid of Frostlasses. Pretty sure all of my oh no, I've got one Venomoth left, but yeah, I think I kind of have to. Because if I could get Rod or Ultra Ball here, that would be perfect. And I don't. That's fine, though. That's okay. Thin our deck a little bit more for a better Carmine next turn. I don't even hate taking Cleffa in a matchup like this. The reason I didn't play Manaphy down also is because it's just going to get eaten up with Frostlasses, and our opponent's in a solid place, so I don't think that would be worth it. And we'll just pass here, doing 40 damage to both of our opponent's Pokemon. And that Chien-Pao's hurting right now. I mean, their Chien-Pao's definitely, like, if they take, let's say they take 1 KO here, they've only got 30 HP left. So if they just kill our active Froslass, we're still taking a 2-prize KO. But I think our opponent definitely is in a pretty solid spot here. I mean, so are we. You know, this match I think could go both ways. I think it really depends if we can get a Venomoth set up and item lock them at the end of this game. Because they've gotten some energy in discard. They've already got 8 energy in discard, so they need to start playing some superior energy retrievals, some rods. And if they start getting rid of those, maybe they don't find others. Hands would be lethal this turn. But do they have enough energy to retreat and set up hands? Because I don't know if they could Shivery Chill for much at this point. Oh, I'm curious. This oh man. And 3 Froslass. We need all of our Froslass to KO this. And I have a feeling he might be taking a big Ampy Very Much KO. this turn, which is terrifying for us. Yep, there's the manual attachment. Do you have enough energy to retreat, though? I don't know if you do. You do have 2. Okay, so they're playing, what, 9 energy? 4 water? So, yeah, they got 9 water energy in their deck. That should be all the water energy in their deck. I was hoping, some lists play 8 energy. I was kind of hoping this was one of those. Would have saved us from a big retreat play here. And that's massive. Getting rid of 2 bosses' orders. Oh, that is so big for us. It might be a little bit too late, but that is the best thing we could have hoped for, and it definitely gives us a good shot going into the rest of this match. So they will amp you very much for 2 prize cards. I'm just going to promote Cleffa here, just in case. I kind of whiff everything I need. I think they kind of win no matter what next turn, unless we can poison them, but I'm not, or poison them, unless they get confused, and confused stops them from attacking, because then we'll pick up a KO on backs. Yeah, so I think this might come down to confusion, which would be a pretty awesome way to end it. Oh my god, wait, no, never mind. We won off the prize cards. I didn't even think of that. Arven, oh, this deck is insane. Dude, we had Arven for TM Devo. I mean, we just had a TM Devo in hand. I will just take my last prize card on killing their Frigibacks. That is, oh, that is mental. This deck is awesome. I played this deck a few games before, and I had fun playing it, but to go 3-0 like this, also recording these games, I could not be happier to do. This deck is an awesome deck. I definitely think you need to try it for yourself. It's not expensive at all. I mean, the Froslass are all... They're all under $1. Venonats are super cheap, and Venomoths. I mean, this is, I think, this might be one of the best budget decks I think I've ever played in a long time. I mean, just the power you have because of how simplistic it is. Kudos to our friend River Isco for making it. Let me double check that is, yep, River Isco for making it. Phenomenal list. I will be including it down below, and if River Isco, if you are watching this video, please comment down below so I could kind of pin your comment up at the top and give you credit for this deck. I mean, it was a phenomenal deck, countering some meta things like PAL, countered a few. I mean, I played a couple matches before, and I was doing well against certain meta matchups. Like, I played against a Charizard, and I was hitting for weakness, which helped a lot in their Charizard EXs, moving energy away with handheld FAMs. Locked out that one as well. Opponent rage quit halfway through. I mean, it's kind of exactly what you saw on video is what I was getting before. So this deck, as silly as it seems, super consistent, super powerful. Definitely give it a shot. I absolutely loved this one, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you have any deck ideas, please let me know. I love playing. Just really anything you want to give me, I'm all for running. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.